Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone, where you are. We are very happy you are joining with us. Happy New Year 2026, everyone. Let me first read the Toastmasters International recording statement. Because this virtual Toastmasters meeting is being recorded, Toastmasters International requires we read this statement. By attending this virtual meeting, you agree to the privacy policy of Toastmasters International as well as the unassociated remote hosting service. Some of your personal information, such as name, image, and any shared messages, may be shared with other meeting participants and will be recorded by Toastmasters International, who may use the recording in the future as it sees fit. Your remote attendance hereby discharges Toastmasters International from all claims, demands, rights, promises, damages, and liabilities arising out of or in connection with the use or distribution of said video recordings, including but not limited to any claims for invasion of privacy, appropriation of likeness, or defamation. If you don't want your likeness to be shown, please turn off your camera. Today, we do have two sessions. This is the first Learning Lab session in January 4th, 2026. And we do have two sessions. Our first speaker is Alfred Herzing, 2001-2002 International President. It is my honor to introduce Alfred. Alfred has been a Toastmaster for 40 years. In 1990-1991, his team led District 52 to distinguished district status. But he is more proud of the fact that this was the first of 4 years in a row that District 52 was distinguished. Alfred served as an international director from 1995 to 1997 and on the executive committee of Toastmasters International from 1998 to 2003. The highlight of that time was when he served as our international president in 2001-2002. 2001 to 2002. In this workshop, Alfred will share his approach to Speechcraft, which he considers our number one membership building tool. This approach works best for low membership clubs that need a quick infusion of 12 new members. Using the techniques he will share in this session, Alfred has had an 80% success rate in converting Speechcrafters to members. Today, Alfred is going to present Speechcraft, our number one membership tool. Alfred, floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Madam Program Quality Manager. Happy New Year, everybody, and thank you for taking the time to join us. I would like this to be an interactive session, so as we're going along, if you have a question, please feel free to interrupt me. If it's in the chat that there's some question, Yamanga, if you could please let me know about that, because when I'm presenting, I won't be looking at that, okay? So yeah, I do consider Speechcraft our number one membership building tool. And it's all about getting to 20 members. You know, that's the magic number in Toastmasters. Why do you think that is? What's the big deal about 20 members? This is interactive. I'm going to have an interactive session today, so feel free to unmute and be part of it. This is the advantage of you being here in person versus watching it recorded.
Well, you don't have to have people serving in multiple roles so that they can continue to learn and grow.
Exactly. And I'm going to touch more on that, but you nailed it. Thank you very much, Marie. Perfect. You know, it is a big deal. For leadership, officers end up serving year after year after year after year, sometimes in the same position, and that leads to burnout. And Toastmasters is the #1 leadership development organization in the world. When you count 7 officers times the number of our clubs that we have worldwide, there is tremendous opportunity for leadership development. And so when we have the same people serving over and over, not necessarily because they want to, but just because they can't get somebody else, that's missed opportunities where somebody else could have gained that leadership training. And I'll speak for myself personally. I found that the leadership skills I learned at Toastmasters directly translated to my professional life. At one point, I was an IT director with over 100 people in my organization. I was very high in the company. And if I ever went to employee and said, do it because I'm the boss, that relationship is over. Well, you need to learn how to motivate and influence volunteers. And that's what we learn in Toastmasters. And then you can learn to motivate employees in the same light. For members, it's hard to put on quality meetings when you have low membership clubs. As Marie mentioned, participants play multiple roles. And it's funny because when you have multiple, it's too much, I'm going to get into that. A small audience for the speakers. There's a whole big difference of a 20-member club missing 2 people versus a 10-member club missing 2 people. And guests don't want to join because it looks like too much work. They see a person stand up, they do the invocation and pledge, they sit down, they get called for a table topic, they speak, and they evaluate the other speaker, right? You've all seen club meetings like that. You ask a guest that attended that meeting, you want to join? They'll say, heck no, I can't do all that. If we look at the number of roles in the club, of course, your actual club will vary, but it's usually about 13 to 15 different roles that 2 are done within a Toastmasters meeting. And so by having 20 members, because obviously not everybody can attend every meeting, as Marie mentioned, it allows you to spread out that workload. And so that's why we want to get up for 20 members. And from a distinguished club perspective in the distinguished club program, that you can also see that membership is a key thing. We want to retain members by keeping them engaged, but also continually bringing in new members. So attrition is normal in Toastmasters. The fact is, if you're not building, you're dying. And every club should be on average bringing in 1 new member every month. Now, December might have been a quiet month, but January you might bring in 2 or 3. You'll make up for it. But that's a good rule of thumb to have in the back of your mind. Just for a normal club that's in a status quo, you should be trying to be bringing in 1 new member per month. But why about Speechcraft? Speechcraft, and the way I'm going to talk about this today, is for a low membership club. This is for clubs that are having struggles putting on quality meetings week after week. It's for clubs that are really feeling burned out with their members having to play multiple roles. And I'm sure all of you either are in a club like that or have seen a club like that. And I know my club in Yorba Linda in District 100, Yorba Linda Achievers, we went through cycles. So we'd be up and we'd have 20, 25 members, and then we'd dip down and we'd be sometimes getting even down to single digits. But Speechcraft is a great way to get a quick infusion of 10 to 15 members. And it also helps you to get inactive members involved, people that might have drifted away. This is a way to bring them back because they can act as mentors for the Speechcrafters. So it gives them a purpose to return. What's nice is the speech topic is provided. Sometimes seekers say, I have to give a speech, but I don't know what to talk about. Well, if you're an educational presenter in the Speechcraft, we're going to give you the topic. So you don't have to worry about that. And it also gives our Speechcrafters a quick start in Speechcraft, in Toastmasters, because it is modeled after pathways. So does that all make sense as kind of a background? Okay, good. So what is a Speechcraft? And some people don't like that name, Speechcraft. I personally have never had a problem with it, but call it whatever you want. It's basically a public speaking course, and you can craft it to be as many sessions as you want, as 4, 6, or 8. You can't do one session, but I've typically done 6 or 8 sessions. It depends on the timing. It's normally aimed at non-Toastmasters. So when you're marketing this, you're marketing it as a public speaking course for non-Toastmasters. Now, sometimes brand new members will participate in Speechcraft because it gives them a kickstart in the Toastmasters program. And the way I've always worked the program, and now with the new digital Speechcraft sessions, it is modeled after the Toastmasters Pathways program. So they are going to be getting in and doing their icebreaker. They're going to be going in and doing some of the projects in Pathways as part of the Speechcraft. So like I said, when you're marketing this, you're aiming at non-Toastmasters. And what things you might say on your flyer, things like, are you looking to improve your communication skills? Are you trying to improve your marketability in this tough job market? Looking to earn a promotion? Getting an edge in today's job market. The idea there is that it's just what's in it for them. That's what this has to be. And why would somebody want to participate in a Speechcraft program? And we want to charge a substantial fee with the way I structure the Speechcraft. You're going to charge 80 to 90, maybe even $100, but it's not a fundraiser. And I'll explain why later in the program. But this is not to earn money for the club. That's not the purpose. We have a problem in Toastmasters that in some cases, it's sometimes seen as too cost effective. It's not that expensive. And there's certain cultures where they say if it doesn't cost that much, it can't be worth as much. And so by charging a substantial fee up front, you're also raising in the minds of the participants the value of the program. Now, what I do with it, because that is a substantial amount of money we're going to charge, I offer a money back guarantee. I say, let's say you're doing an 8-week session. If you attend 7 out of the 8 sessions and you feel you did not get your money's worth, we will refund your money. 100% money back guarantee. If you're doing a 6-week session, if you attend 5 out of the 6 sessions, because I think requiring 100% attendance is a bit stern, but at 5 is reasonable. If you attend 5 out of 6 sessions and you don't feel you got your money's worth, we're going to refund your money. Have I ever had to refund my money, folks? No. You guys know the Toastmaster program works. If people attend and participate in meetings, they will get value. That's guaranteed. Now, most of you are too young to remember this, but back in the 80s, there was Harvey Mackay wrote a book called Swim with Sharks. He was the CEO of the Mackay Envelope Company in Minnesota. And in that book, Swim with Sharks, he mentioned Toastmasters and he recommended his readers attend Toastmasters. And in that book, he offered a money back guarantee. If you participate in Toastmasters and you don't feel it was worth your time and effort, your money, here's my name, Harvey Mackay at the Mackay Envelope Company, blah, 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 Minnesota. Send me it and I will refund your money. My good friend, past international director Kai Rambo, interviewed Harvey Mackay a few years after that book was published. And I asked him to ask Harvey, has he ever had to give a refund for anybody that didn't get their value out of Toastmasters? What do you think the answer was? No, never had to. The other thing we're going to do in marketing this Speechcraft is we're going to limit it to 15 openings. Why? When you say limited to 15 openings, that creates a sense of urgency. It's like, oh my gosh, wow, I better get right on this. Now, for the club, we know 15 openings is a lot. So that's a lot that we're going to be offering. But if you're talking about a community club, 15 out of 10,000 people, that's not much. If you're in a good sized company, 15 people, that's not a lot. So it creates a sense of urgency, and that's what we want to do. In fact, in my corporate life, I've run the Speechcraft a number of times, and there was a time once where we had the 15 openings filled. And I had somebody call and I said, "Oh, I'm so sorry, but this one is filled, but I'll put you on the waiting list for the next one." So yes, it can get filled. So there is a new digital Speechcraft. It used to be all on paper, but like a lot in Toastmasters, we've now gone digital. It's a $50 per digital bundle, and that will cover materials for 5 Speechcrafters as well as a coordinator. So since I'm talking about 15, excuse me, you're going to want to get 3 of those. So we're talking about $150 initial layout from the club to get started. Now, just so you know that once you start that bundle, they all of them expire after the final session. Let's say you only get 12 speech crafters, but you bought 3 bundles, so you have 15. Well, you're going to have 3 that are not being used, but those 3 will expire 90 days after the final session of the other Speechcraft. Does that make sense? I know it's a little confusing. Now, if you don't give them a start date, it can be left in limbo indefinitely. But do know you can't get a refund after 12 months. You can't, so the club can't come back and say, "Hey, I've decided we didn't want to do this. We just want our money back." And as I mentioned earlier, the Speechcraft is now, the digital bundle is now following pathways. This is an actual flyer that I used in the past for Speechcraft. Notice back then I did 9 weekly sessions. Speechcraft, and just to describe what it is, Speechcraft is a program designed to develop and strengthen the fundamentals of effective speaking skills in a seminar workshop format. And then I gave the date that the program was going to start, the location. And then what I included was a quote. This is at Union Oil Company, the company that I used to work, Unical. I got a quote from a member of one of our clubs, because we had 2 clubs there, the vice president and controller of the company. So this is a very high level executive in the company. And here's a quote for him supporting Toastmasters. So if you're doing a company club, again, getting a company member to give a quote, or the CEO, you can usually do that, is a great way to do it. If you're doing a community club, you can even just members that have benefited from it, or the mayor, somebody prominent in the community, that it's always good to have a testimony or a quote there of support. So, and like I said, theirs is $100, a money back guarantee, only 15 openings, make your reservation now. So that's an actual flyer that was used in the past, although the values, the dollars, have been updated to the modern cost. Here's another one. These flyers are available from Toastmasters where you can do that. So here's another one you can do. So this one we did $85, only 15 openings, seeing a little commonality there. And by the way, this presentation has been sent to Amanga. So if you would like to get a copy of it, let her know, and I'm sure she will be happy to share it with you. So what we do is we take people through the Speechcraft, but we're not selling them on Toastmasters immediately, okay? So initially when they start the Speechcraft, we introduce Toastmasters and who we are, but we're not trying to get them to join immediately. Obviously, that is our ulterior motive. But I want to say at the close of the program, you say, "Look, by participating in this program, you absolutely have developed some skills. Now, in order to keep those skills sharp, it would be a great idea to continue to use them, because it is a case of use it or lose it." So what we're proposing is that you join Toastmasters upon the conclusion of the Speechcraft. And if you do that, your first 6 months dues are covered. So there's no additional cost that they have to cover, okay? So that's where that high fee is coming in. We're covering the $10 per member for the membership of the Speechcraft bundle. We're covering $60 for the 6 months dues. And then we have to cover the $25 new membership fee. Okay. So that's how we're getting to these numbers. And you also say you're also going to get you're going to get credit for the speeches and the activities you already did in the Speechcraft. So you're already on your way to recognition. In fact, I believe level 1 is already completed by the time you complete the Speechcraft. So it's a very good incentive for them, and it's a very low bar. There's no additional cost. They've been coming to meetings, and we're going to talk about that later. You want to have the meetings at the same day, same location as your club meeting. So they're already in the habit of attending, and now they can just continue as a Toastmaster. Does this make sense? Okay.
I have a question.
Please.
Yeah, so with the changes as far as the role requirements for meeting role requirements,
Uh-huh.
would that still allow, if you had 4 sessions, do you believe that that would still allow a person to be able to serve in those roles as well as get all of those speeches completed?
Is a role, I mean, I think an evaluator is required in level 1. Is there any other role that's required other than giving a speech?
Yes, either a all counter or a timer
Okay,
is
all right.
another one.
I think personally that you could definitely make that happen. Obviously, more meetings, 6 or 8 meetings would give you more opportunities to include that. But I think it's doable. But it would take planning, Marie. You're bringing up a great point that whoever's running the Speechcraft has to make sure that they assign and rotate people through those duties so that they have that opportunity. Now, if somebody's assigned as the timer per se, and they don't show up at that meeting, that's the one they miss. Well, if they can't get credit for the level 1 being already completed, that's on them because we did give them that opportunity.
Thank you.
And
You bet. Thank you. Thank you for asking a question. I want this to be interactive. Awesome.
also, they have to do a table topic before they can do the icebreaker now as well.
Yep. Yep. And actually, the way I used to do the icebreaker, I used to do it like a table topic. I would break it up into 3 or 4 sections and say, tell us about your professional development, or tell us about how you met your spouse, tell us what you're doing for a living now. And by them just doing a short table topic, they gave the equivalent of their icebreaker. But that's the way I used to break it up. But you can actually just have the speech crafters do it. And this is the great thing about doing a speech craft for a low membership club, because the speech crafters very quickly take over the meeting. In other words, they're doing the table topics, they're giving the speeches, they're doing the evaluations. And so it really lightens the load on the existing members that were feeling burned out. They're like, I can take a breath here. I'm going to be participating as a mentor and maybe doing some of the other roles, but I don't have to do the heavy lifting. And I'm also going to be, like I said, mentoring those existing, those speech crafters. Thank you, Maureen. Great. So the idea, that's what's great about this, is the club gets good members. By that, I mean the participants are actively involved in speaking or evaluating at every meeting. So they're used to a very, very quick pace. So they're going to be like, okay, finally I get a little bit of rest. I was tired of giving a speech at every meeting or every other meeting. And it's going to give them a bit of a rest by doing this. And they're used to participating. So they're going to get active members joining the club that already have that expectation, because that's what they're doing with the Speechcraft. And like I said before in my introduction, with this technique where you have a very low bar to join, there's no additional cost. You're going to get credit for what you've done. I personally have had an 80% success rate of converting Speechcrafters into members. So if you have 15 Speechcrafters, that's 12 new members. Now, any club, especially a low membership club that instantly gets 12 new members, right away, you just met your membership goals, and also you now have a strong club for moving forward. And of course, what we want to do is keep those members engaged so that they're retained. We don't want them to just disappear. So it's not 100%, but 80% is pretty good. Now, when I was an area governor, I had, or area, well, no, I was an area governor. That was the title back in ancient times. I had a division governor give this in downtown Los Angeles at his organization. He had 100% of his participants become members after doing the Speechcraft using this technique. And past international director Greg Scott, way before he became a director, used my same technique at the University of Riverside, and he ended up chartering a club there using this technique. So it really does work. Now, you could also get high performance leadership credit towards your DTM. They still have that program, right, Umanga? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, beautiful. So just another thing for you as if you're coordinating the Speechcraft, you can also get additional credit for that. So, just it's really easy. It's not that complicated. Just set a date and execute a Speechcraft for your club. And that's really it. It's not that complicated. Are there any questions? All right, hearing none. Is it okay if we finish early, Umanga?
Yeah, sure.
All right, it's a very straightforward program. Let me just kind of recap the highlights. So you're going to market this. This is intended for low membership clubs. If you have a 15 or 20 to 18 member club and you're looking for 2 more to get your 20 base, this type of approach is going to be a little harder because a lot more members of the club are going to feel disinvolved during the term of the Speechcraft. But if you have a low membership club where members are feeling burnt out, it's like, hey, we have to do something significantly different. And we're looking to get an influx of 10 to 12 members. This is a great way to do it. You market it to non-Toastmasters. You charge a substantial fee with a money back guarantee. And that substantial fee is not a fundraiser. It's going to cover the cost of the Speechcraft, which is $10 per person. It's going to cover 6 months of dues, which is $60. The new member fee, which is $25. So already we're up to $95 right there. You might want to even add a little bit for prorated dues if you're having them join and it's not during the semi period. Because what you don't want to do is have somebody join in March and then the next month you're already coming back to them and say, well, you owe us just like $12 to cover that gap period. Yeah, that just leaves a bad taste. But that's what you're going to do. You're going to charge a substantial fee, but it's not a fundraiser. Of course, if somebody makes a stupid decision not to join your club upon conclusion of this, you're going to make sure that you will get some money out of it. And what it wasn't in the presentation, I do want to mention is you want to make sure you hold the Speechcraft at the same location at the same time as your regular club meetings. And so people are going to be used to coming to your location, but you don't want to hold the Speechcraft on a Tuesday, but your club meets on Wednesday, and then have the person want to join the club, but they say, oh, Wednesday? Well, that's my church group night, or that's my bowling league that night. So you want to make sure that they're already available during the date and time of that. And I need to add that back into the presentation, Amanga. I'll send you an updated one with that. I thought that was in there. All right.
Yeah, please do. That would be great. Then I can
Yeah.
send it to those who
Yeah.
really need this one. Also, I have a question about that Speechcraft. I remember you said it's a money guarantee if they did not get what they expectation, and we can send it back. So I was thinking, how are we going to do this kind of thing in online? Sometimes most of our clubs are online, because when we do in person, we can really, they can pay cash, and if it's not working, we can pay back them. So how
Oh,
does
so
it,
how do you
I
collect
don't,
the,
I was
yeah,
thinking when you said that.
yeah, yeah, that's a very good question. I think, I guess you'd have to go back to Venmo or some sort of electronic way of payment, or those old-fashioned paper checks. But yeah, you're right. That can be a problem for online clubs. But the
Yeah.
Speechcraft, I think, would be just as effective as far as participating online versus doing it in person. You're still going to get everybody involved. You're still going to have them participating. But that's a good point about the collecting of the fee up front. There was also a question about matching mentors to members for mentoring on the speeches. And I think that what you just want to do is first of all, find out who in your club is willing to do it, get a list of people, and then the speech crafters are really not going to know any different. So just assign somebody and let them know if there's any issue. If you two, for some reason, are clashing and you're just not getting along, let us know and we'll be happy to assign somebody else. When I've done it, I have actually been the mentor for multiple speech crafters, and that's never been a problem for me because, they're not that demanding. Marie, you had a question or comment.
Yeah, I do have a question. Have you ever sponsored a Speechcraft where the club actually, bought, and this is probably pre-pathways of, where the club actually paid, bought the manuals and everything.
Well, yeah, that's
Mhm.
exactly right. What's going to happen is the club will pay to buy the manuals. I mean the bundles. So you're right. The club is going to be out $150. So you would need a member that would be willing to put that on his or her credit card with the understanding that it will be reimbursed.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Good question because there's some upfront costs there that has to be borne. You're not going to be, I mean, I guess you could, but personally I wouldn't do it. Wait till you get a couple checks and then you have the money and then you could buy the bundles as long as you have those checks prior to the start of the Speechcraft. But I wouldn't want to play that game. So how do we, Josie has a great question. How do we find people to participate in Speechcraft? Like I said, you want to market this to non-Toastmasters. So if it's a company club, see if you have bulletin boards within the company that you can use, if you can get permission from human resources, or again, I like to, when I'm in the corporate setting, try to go to the very top of the organization and get their support of Toastmasters. And if you get a statement of support from them, then you might even be able to use the company email to publicize it and send out that flyer company wide. If you're doing a community club, social media is a great way to do it. The libraries will have bulletin boards sometimes, supermarkets. You just have to be a little more creative. I know in these times there aren't that many physical papers being published. But if your community does have that one, the Yorba Linda used to have the Yorba Linda Star. I don't know if they still do that or not. Probably not. But you can get listed in there as well. But you just have to be a little creative and really encouraging your members also to who do they know who could participate. And again, in a company location, it's even easier because the skills do help people in their professional life. And so, most people white collar are interesting to further their career. I mean, it's the rare individual that's not interested in furthering their career. Any other questions? Thank you so much. This is wonderful. I
So,
appreciate the
Alfred, I do have one more question. It is like my best understanding. We are going to have like a demonstration meeting. That normally what we are doing in normal Toastmasters meeting, we are going to do it for new members, right?
Well, yeah. So if you're launching a new club, is that what you're talking about?
Yeah,
Yeah.
in a
Yeah.
Speechcraft because I never did it. So I was very
Yeah.
interested. Yeah.
I personally don't recommend what Greg did. I mean, what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to use Speechcraft for an existing club that's trying to get a quick influx of members. But you could do it because what it does is it gives those new members a jump start in the program. But personally, I think why spend the extra money? Why have that complication? Get the 20 new members, sign them up, start scheduling and get them in a path, and then start using the Pathways program. I don't think you need that extra overhead. And when Greg did that, that was before the digital bundle anyway, but he got creative and that's okay. I mean, be creative. That's the wonderful thing about Toastmasters and Speechcraft. It's not predefined how many sessions you have to do. I mean, 4, 6, or 8, you decide. You saw I used to do 9-session ones. A lot of times when you're doing this, let's say like now, if you were to do this for this year and you wanted by June 30th, you want to have your 20 members, right? Because you for the Distinguished Club program and get those additional members. So you'd want to be having time to market it. You want to allow 2 or 3 weeks to market it. and then run the program for the 8 weeks, that's 2 months. And so you want to make sure that you're not against the boundary where, oh, it's too late and now we missed our opportunity for this Toastmasters year. Obviously, new members are good anytime they can join, but if we're trying to achieve some goals for this year, there's, and why wait, right? Let's do it now.
No, that is true. I mean, we can mainly target on the clubs, those who do not have at least enough 8 members to. So that is really good tool. Yeah.
Well, or even 12. I mean, if it's 12, it's a lower membership club. If you have 12 members and only 10 are showing up or 9 showing up, again, you're going to have the doubling and sometimes tripling up of duties like Marie mentioned earlier. All right. Well, let's not prolong this. I really appreciate all of you and your time, and God bless you and all good luck.
Thank you so much. We really appreciate Alfred, and my plan is to contact the clubs in District 100 as well as some of you contacted me, and as soon as you share with me the PowerPoint, I will send it to them. And again, thank you so much being a District 100 Learning Lab speaker today, and we really appreciate you. Our
You're welcome.
second speaker, go ahead, please.
I say my cord was cutting off my shoulder when I put it over here. All right. Thank you.
Thank you, Alfred. Our second Learning Lab speaker is District 100, District 100 Learning Lab, District 100 District Director Angel Lerana, and that is Angel is going to talk about Basecamp overview and management. And right now, time is Pacific time 8:36, and that is going to happen at Pacific time 9 o'clock. So you do have a few more minutes, like a little more than 20 minutes. So get a break and please join with us. Thank you so much. Thanks again.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye, Alfred.
Wonderful session, Umanga.
Thank you, Shala. I like it too. So as soon as Alfred shared it with me, I will send. If you, I know some of you joined late, little bit. If you really want that presentation, please send me a chat message here. So I will send you an email. Thank you. We do have little more than 20 minutes, and see you all.